We're back on the 48 Willys Jeep Rat Rod project. In the last video, we got the front end lowered down to an acceptable height. I think that's as far as we're going to take it for now. But for this video, I need to figure out an engine for this thing. I got to put a game plan together for it. So I've drug out two of the engines that I have. They're both 351 Windsors. Well, actually, this one's considered a 351 Windsor and this one's considered a 5.8. So what we're going to do is pull these engines apart, compare the parts, inspect everything, and see which one's going to be the best candidate for the Jeep. So I guess it's about time we get into it. Okay, so we got both the engines on engine stands, ready to go. Plan is to take them apart down to about a short block and just inspect everything. And we'll compare the differences between the two because there's a 20-year difference from this is a 74 block and this is a 94 block. So there's quite a bit of differences. I mean, already you can see there's a difference in the rocker arms. There's a difference in the timing covers. And that's just barely scratching the surface of it. So we'll go ahead and start pulling these apart. I'm going to set up a table so we can put all the pieces on and compare them right next to each other. So I'll bring you back in after I got a table set up and we'll start taking pieces off. So I think for starters what we're going to do is pull the timing covers off. I already got the bolts out of them. I had this one off before when I pulled the engine out of the van. I already pulled the timing chain out of it, so it won't have a timing chain in there. This one I believe still does. One of the things I noticed on the timing covers that's different, this one you have the hole for the fuel pump, and since this one was fuel injection, it does not have that. Another thing that's different I see is here the water passages. See if I can get both of them in the shot. You can see that part's a little different, so I believe that maybe the water pump on this one spins the opposite direction. Other than that, I don't see a lot different. Let's go ahead and pull them off. This one still has the fuel pump eccentric on the cam. I do still have the timing chain for it. It was barely used. So that might be the one that I end up using. So let's go ahead and pull this one off. This one still has the timing chain. And it's a double roller. Looks like it's a little loose. So it must have been changed a while ago. I'm sure this engine probably has over 200,000 miles on it. You can tell it wasn't taken really good care of by looking at it. Everything's kind of crusted up and nasty. Where this one's pretty clean looking. So I'm hoping that maybe this one was rebuilt at one time and I got a good engine to start with. Well, that's kind of odd. This one has a pump eccentric on it too, even though it was fuel injected. Okay, I'll take it. I did look up the block numbers on these. This block design was made in 94 and they used it through 96, at least in the trucks. I believe they may have used them longer in vans. I couldn't tell you for sure. Seems like I've seen that somewhere. And this one is a 74 design and they used that through 78. We'll go over the block a little more as we tear down. I think next I'm going to remove the heads. I've had the heads off of this one before and I know that the cylinders are glazed real good and it's got a lot of miles on it. So I'm curious to see what this one is because I've never taken the heads off of it. Only thing I've ever had off is the intake and the timing cover. I think this one might even still have oil in it, so I got to drain that real quick too. Alright, I'll start draining oil and pulling head bolts, I guess. I got the heads off of both of them. Wasn't too bad. First thing you might notice, This one has a little smaller dish in the piston than this one does. This one I believe was 8-to-1 compression and the other one's 9-to-1. Deep dish might be good for pizza, but it sucks for pistons. The other things that I'm checking out are the cylinders. This one, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I'm seeing some crosshatch in the cylinders. So that's good. That's what we want to see. On the other side, no crosshatch. And when I come back to this one, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a definite line at the top there. They say if you can catch your fingernail on it, like over here I can kind of catch my fingernail, but this one, it totally stops my finger. I can feel the ridge in it. So I'm thinking maybe this piston has a broken piston skirt or something that caused it to dig into the block here. I'm going to say that this one needs bored for sure, just because of this spot right here. That's not good at all. Which sucks because this one does have the higher compression pistons. And it's a roller block. It has these two little embossed things in the block for using the stock roller cam. It didn't come with a roller cam, but it's made for it. Where this one does not have that stuff. So it's just a flat tappet unless you want to spend a whole lot of money for a roller cam. And I don't. But so far this one, the 74 block, looks like it's the winner. We're going to keep tearing into it. Guess I'll pull out the lifters so they don't fall out. And then we'll flip them over, pull the oil pan off, see what we're dealing with on the bottom of them. See if this one has a broken piston skirt. What's going on with this thing. But as for the heads, they're over here on the table. We'll do a little comparison there. Here's the bottom of the heads. This is the 94 block. That's the 74 block. And there's really not much difference I can see there. The valves look the same size. Looks like I was going to say it looks like the combustion chamber looks the same size, but I believe that the 74 block engine, whatever, is a little bit smaller. Not much, but just a little. I'll take it. The next thing I noticed between the two is on the exhaust ports. Here's this one from the 74. It has this huge emission hump in there. And then here's from the 94, and you can see that one is way smaller. Another thing that I noticed between the two is the intake ports are a little different. The ones on the older engine are a little bit bigger. Not a lot, but just a little. Than the ones on the 94. I think it's like 1/8 of an inch bigger. But that's power. I have to research on these combustion chambers because this really does look a little bigger. You compare right here to the spark plug, that's up pretty high. Here it's all angled down. Anyways, I didn't really want to use the 94s because there's a few broken bolts in them that I'd have to drill out and all that crap anyways. So I think what I'll do is use these heads and just grind the crap out of this emission hump. Clean them up real good. They should work great. Now let's go find out what's going on with the bottom end. Okay, so I tried to pull the lifters out before I flipped the block over, but that's as far as those would come out. And on this one, they came out a lot farther. One of them actually came all the way out, like nothing. These are probably more than halfway out, which tells me another thing, that this engine has a lot of miles on it. I'm still hopeful that this engine was rebuilt. I think once I flip it over and look at the bottom, that's going to tell me something. So let's do that next. I'll get both of them flipped over and we'll pull the pans off and see what we're dealing with. Apparently this one still has some antifreeze in it. Been sitting there since 2018. If that stuff would have evaporated or something by now. Alright, well I just took the oil pan off of this one and we're not off to a very good start already. Yay! Looks like a piston skirt. Like it's been broken for quite a while too. Let's see which one that was. Well, I'll investigate a little more and then I'll show you what I find. Oh. Alright you guys, this is definitely a piston skirt. So you compare it to that down there. But I've looked at all the cylinders and none of them's broken. Explain that one. How'd that get in the oil pan? I'm really confused. Oh well, I guess we'll just let that simmer for a little bit and let's flip this one over and see what we find in the bottom of that one. Okay, I got this oil pan off. Looking down in there. This is a cylinder that I thought for sure had a broken skirt, but it looks like it might have a crack right over here on this side. I thought I seen a crack somewhere else. Oh yeah, and that one right there. So these pistons aren't any good. That's always good. Didn't find any broken parts in this oil pan. I did find this little piece in the pickup tube. I don't know what the heck that's from. Hard telling. Went ahead and pulled both the oil pumps off so I could get a better look at everything. I think I'm going to pull a couple of caps, like one main cap and maybe one or two rod caps, just to see what the bearings look like, and both of them really. So I'll go ahead and pull those off and we'll check it out and we'll go from there, I guess. So far I'm still leaning towards the older block just because of the condition of it. It seems to be better. Still don't know where that came from. One thing that is different between the two blocks is this has the two-piece rear main seal where you got to take the cap off to change it, and this one has the one piece where you can just pop it out the back. That's really nice. They're easy to change, but usually once you change the rear main seal you don't really have to mess with it, so at least you shouldn't have to. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple caps off and we'll see what we're working with there. It's going to tell us a lot about the engines. I have a feeling that one's going to look pretty bad. Alright, I pulled a few caps off. Here's the main cap. You can see some copper on this one. Cap for the rod. You can see it's worn a little bit. This one's worn a little bit. Go over to the other engine, you see a lot more copper. 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 So where do I go from here? I'm not really sure. Looks like both of them need rebuilt. I'm thinking the older engine is probably the best candidate, but I feel like I'm gonna have to tear it all the way down to make sure. You start finding parts in the engine and you can't find where they came from. It's a little concerning. I don't know, maybe somebody replaced a piston at one time and just left the piece in there. I don't know why you'd do that, but So I think I'm going to go ahead and tear this one all the way down, see what I'm working with. I was hoping I could use the pistons out of that one at least, but a couple of them have cracked skirts, so it would have been nice to have the higher compression pistons, but I guess they're junk. That one is a total builder for sure. Most likely it's going to need board over 30 or whatever because of the way that one cylinder looked. So I guess I'll just keep pulling this one apart and see what I end up with. Okay, it's been a couple of days since the last time I recorded anything, and I don't really remember where I left off, but I think I was getting ready to pull pistons out of this engine. I pulled the pistons out and cam and crankshaft. I got a better idea of what I'm dealing with now. The pieces that I found in the bottom of the engine were from the piston, of course. It was number 3, I think. I don't remember which one it was. So I ended up having 2 pistons with broken rings, and then here's the one with the broken skirt. So that's no good. So even though I thought I had a couple of cracked pistons in this engine, I went ahead and pulled them apart. I had this all blown apart. I stole the pistons out of it because they all look good so far. Need to clean them up real good and inspect them. But I think those pistons are going to go in this engine, and this engine's going to go back in the corner. And I may end up pulling it back out to mock up more stuff. I don't know. But for right now, I'm just going to get it out of the way, because I got this mess over here to clean up. A couple sets of pistons and rods, and a couple oil pans, and you name it. I got both the oil pans sitting over here because when I mocked up the cross member, I don't remember if I had room for the other oil pan, because it's shaped a little bit different. So hopefully I can use the one that came off the blue one, because I already have a dipstick tube for it, and the other one I don't, so that's just more money I gotta spend. On the blue engine, I ended up finding a cam bearing that was pretty whipped. That piece came out when the cam came out, so I'm gonna have to put cam bearings in it. I was hoping I wouldn't have to, but that's just another thing to take care of. So it's gonna get new bearings and new rings, and we'll upgrade it with those other pistons because they're 9-to-1, and the ones that were in it were 8-to-1. So as of right now, this is the engine I'm going to use. I'll go ahead and inspect it more, make sure there's no cracks or funky cylinder walls or anything like that I gotta worry about. But now I need to put together a shopping list for this thing, figure out how much I'm going to end up spending on it, trying to do it as cheap as possible, because I don't want to have a $5,000 engine in a pile of scrap. Let's call it what it is. So I think now all I gotta do is clean everything up really good, check it real good. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the valves out of the heads and do a little bit of grinding in the ports, clean it up, see if I can get a little more power out of it there. You know, budget stuff. Was kind of hoping to use this engine because it's the roller block, so I don't have to worry about flat tappet cam failure, which I keep hearing all kinds of horror stories about. But we're gonna go ahead and risk it on this one. Make sure I get some good lifters for it. I hope it'll be fine. Well, I think that's gonna be it for this video. Found out what I needed to know. Time for a lot of degreasing and cleaning and everything. Searching for parts. Well, on that note, I just want to say thanks for hanging out at Van Gogh Garage in Carburetor Spring, Colorado. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.